live. It's Dr. Fantastic. It is November 10th, Call to Earth Day. I'm at my motivational center here in beautiful Hadaba. Let me apologize for the camera work here, but it is what it is. I'm a one-man operation here. No one on camera but me. This is live, and we're going to talk about commitment number 3 in the Be Fantastic philosophy, and that's being kind to our environment. It's code red on the planet. Top of the news is our environmental problem around the world. It used to be COVID. Now it's people have realized that the insanity of humanity has screwed the pooch on the planet. And it's individuals that did this. It's not nature that did this. Individuals have polluted and really did some damage to our earth. And I believe it's individuals that can cure the problem. So we're going to talk about how you as an individual can help solve the problem. In the background, grab a cup of coffee. Yesterday's talk was an hour and 11 minutes, and a few people enjoyed it. If only one person enjoys my talks on this channel, it's worth it. And of course, they go into they're recorded for posterity because I've got over 2,000 videos on every kind of subject you can imagine. You know, I traveled through 22 states in America on this journey. On day 500 and what the hell is it there? Damn flies. 582, 583, today 584. I've been on the road, left California 584 days ago to tell the world to clean up its act, to be kind to itself, themselves, others. And I'm proud to say we have 2,397 or 98, what is the number? It keeps growing. 2,397 ambassadors of kindness that are listening to me, that are following the 3 commitments. I call it agree to the 3 and we'll make history. I love when things rhyme. Grab a cup of coffee. If you want to participate in this Call to Earth Day, maybe you have a suggestion. I've got lots of them. Please text me or call me on +2 01 09 180 7584 or +2 01 09 96903. What a memory! I can't believe I remembered those numbers. So I am here in Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, a fantastic place to be. And this is my base for now. I want to travel the world and teach more people about the environment, about kindness. I want to certainly go to Africa, where I have 29 countries that have admin groups called Be Fantastic Tanzania, Be Fantastic Nairobi. That's a city, I think. And I have about 28 cities in Africa as well. And they all want me to tour and give my speeches to schools, give my speeches to companies and government agencies. Now, the speech I give, I'm actually creating what's called a curriculum course, a kindness curriculum course that goes through my points on how to be kind to yourself. It's an hour course. How to be kind to others. It's an hour course. And how to be kind to the environment, which we're talking about today. And that's another hour course. After the 3 hours, so on separate days, hopefully, it's a lot of people's attention span's not quite that long. We would like the teacher to bring the students on a field trip, see the litter, see if anyone's doing any random acts of kindness out there or they're being cruel, and so that's, and then the student gets a certificate of completion, and they become an ambassador of kindness. Our future is our kids, and when they learn to be kind and care about the environment and be kind to it, the world is going to be kind of. The world's going to be cleaner anyway. Um, we're taught kindness as youth. You know, all our mothers and fathers tell us to be kind. I don't think they tell us to be cruel. Hopefully not. Um, but what's the problem is because of the overcrowdedness in most of these cities. This isn't true in the villages. We've become a greedy, selfish, litigious society. It's a dog eat dog world. They say it's a jungle, and everyone's out for themselves. Not to say you don't come first, but when you push people aside to get onto the bus, that's cruel. That's inhumane. It's bad. Let the old lady help her up the bus. That's a kind thing to do. Help her across the street. When I was in Alexandria some months ago, I was on a carriage ride doing my little video, photographing the city, taking it all in, and the driver pulled over, stopped, jumped out. He didn't speak English, and went behind. I turned around to see what the hell he was doing, and there was an old lady with a bunch of bags, and he saw that she was needing help, so he hailed a cab for her, helped her in the cab, helped her groceries into the cab, which all took about 5 minutes. It wasn't an easy task, and then got back on the buggy, and we continued our journey. Now he did it out of the kindness of his heart. I call that a random act of kindness, and he was rewarded. I gave him a bigger tip. He didn't expect that. He didn't want that. People don't typically do a kind thing. Let me close the door here. Sorry, flies. I don't want one in my villa. I hate flies. Man's greatest invention is a fly swatter. I did an article, a blog. I write a lot of blogs on flies because I don't like flies. They're everywhere. Flies are everywhere. Every country. Everywhere. And it turns out flies are pretty important. They say everything on the planet is important. Every plant has a medicinal purpose or a purpose. Most plants give out oxygen. And when we chop down our forests for rare woods or to build more houses, we're depleting our oxygen supply. And we're going to talk all about that today in our environmental talk because it's a call to the earth. Earth, you're screwing it up. Get your act together. I call it the insanity of humanity. I'm going to jump to the subject real quick. COVID. 5 million people have died. And really, that's not a true number. That's what they're reporting. That's mass media. It's a fraction of that number. And that's not a good number. One's not a good number. But 200 million people died from the plague, the Black Plague. 116 or 119 million died from the Spanish flu last century. So the amount of damage that they did with this vaccines and this quarantines and shutting businesses, it's astronomical. It's changed the world. People are masked now. You know, they made a big mistake when they said we need to be socially distant. It's the last thing we need. We need to be socially close. We're social creatures. We need to hug and smile and laugh and shake hands and have eye contact. What we needed to do was be physically distant. And that one word caused a lot of damage, caused a lot of negative thinking in people's heads, in my opinion. It's always my opinion. You know, you can accept my opinion or you can throw it away because we all have opinions. My opinions are based on 67 years living on the planet. I'm actually only 26. Earth years, I'm 67. Martian years, I'm 26. What can I tell you? So my experiences, having met the most amazing people in the world, the richest and the smartest, and having been seeing the amazing things and been to amazing places, I combine it all into 3 simple commandments. And it works for everyone, the rich and the poor, the smart and the dumb. It works for everybody. And when everyone agrees to these 3, agree to the 3, and we'll make history. Love that. We won't have wars, arguments or fights. I know it's idealistic, but I've got 2,385 or 80 how number is it? 2,397 people agreeing so far. Eh. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step. For you new admins that are coming in, we have, I think, over 80 admin groups. It's called Be Fantastic Tanzania or Be Fantastic California. They are helping promote kindness by sharing the three. Agree to the three. Tell your family about the three. You know, it used to be four, but I figured out that no one's going to be able to remember four. And the fourth commitment was say kind words. And that's still important, but it's been put into commitment two, which is be kind to others. When we're kind to others, we're saying kind words. Please. Thank you. How much trouble is saying thank you? Please. Thank you. It's two words. It's an act of kindness to say it. And in French, it's one word. It's merci. People just, you open a door for someone, they don't say thank you. I gave some spare change to someone because they didn't have enough money in line in front of me at the market a week or so ago. They didn't look at me. They didn't say thank you. They took the money and they walked out the door. It's like, you're welcome. You're welcome's a nice thing to say. Please, thank you, you're welcome. You look fantastic. And you are fantastic for watching this. For taking the time to watch this. Excuse the noise. As you know, they're rebuilding Charm, if you've been watching the show. And I'm going to talk about the fantastic use, the fantastic environmental impact that Egypt does when they're doing construction. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about that for a minute while I'm thinking about it. So, in America, I've seen a lot of construction. I've been in construction. I've remodeled a dozen homes. And street construction. You take an aerosol can, which costs money to produce, and it'll eventually end up in a landfill, that aerosol can. The aerosol spray in it, hydrocarbons, whatever, goes in the atmosphere and ruins our planet. So a simple can of spray paint is dangerous to our environment. So much. So when they do construction in America, they take this can of spray paint all day long, all across America and in other countries, and they spray a line on the ground where they're going to dig or where the electrical line is. So all day long, these aerosol cans are being sprayed. Also hairspray, it's bad. Use a pump. These are little things you could do to clean up our environment. So, in Egypt, I love it. They take a rock, and instead of that line, they put a rock there. It's amazing. And instead of a tape measure, which costs money to make, and eventually ends up in a landfill, or landfills, so don't get me started on landfills, they use a string, a simple piece of string. Saw them the other day measuring. I love watching them. And for some reason, it was this way they were measuring, but he took it and he cut it with, and he didn't use the scissors, because the scissors is going to end up in a landfill. And to cut the string, he used the edge of a stone. Cut the string. Now it was the right size, and they did use a level. They're not primitive here, because you do need a level. Oh, my level's very good. But it's environmentally friendly, and they reuse a lot of stuff. You know, they'll take that pile over there and grind it up and use it. America does that as well. America reuses its asphalt. Reusing is so important. I'm going to go through a lot of different topics. I'll jump around, but reusing. In the old days, you would bring your jug and get it refilled with water, or a jug of milk and get it refilled, and use that jug over and over and over again. Now you get into the plastic bottle and you throw it away. And unfortunately, people aren't accountable for their actions. Because individuals cause the litter. Don't get yourself wrong. Don't kid yourself. Individuals cause all the litter on the world. 4.7 trillion cigarette butts get thrown on the ground every year. Every year. Those cigarette butts hopefully end up in some landfills. But mostly they're just littering the streets, and they get washed into the gutter, and the gutter leads to the ocean, and the ocean leads to the fish. The fish eat that cigarette butt, and they die. That's what it is. Cigarette butts have caused um, forest fires, houses to burn, farms to burn, people to die, millions of dollars worth of damage from a cigarette butt. And it's one at a time. 4.7 trillion cigarette butts on the ground, one at a time. We have islands, you might know this, of plastic bottles floating in our oceans, in our seas. Islands, the size of states and cities. And those bottles were thrown on the ground one at a time. So, commitment 3 is be accountable for your actions as individuals. Individuals cause this problem on Earth, and individuals can solve the problem. A man or a woman throws down trash in many countries, and their child sees that. That's a great example to set. Because when that child grows up, or does it even before growing up, mom and dad threw it on the ground, that must be okay. Great example to set. We must set an example for our children. And that's why the 3 commitments are so fantastic. Setting an example to be kind to ourselves, to be kind to others, and to be kind to the environment. Very, very important. So, yesterday I had one viewer. Today I have none. It is what it is. Nobody has any time or patience to care about kindness. Let me give you a story about that. I saw a video because I've been looking up all the kind organizations. I want to work with them hand in hand to create a team and spread kindness. There's a lot of big organizations out there that have funding. I don't, but they do. That's fantastic. I saw this video. It was filmed 5 years ago. It was with Lady Gaga, who's one of the biggest entertainers on the planet. It was with Dalai Lama, who I've been watching after I watched that. I've been watching him a bit. He says the same exact things I'm saying, but he's got more followers. And he talks maybe a little bit more. He doesn't talk really religion. He talks spirituality. I don't talk religion or politics. And then there was a guy named Philip Enschultz, who was a super billionaire. So 3 pretty important people in the world. And they were at a conference of mayors on kindness. The whole hour and a half was talking about kindness, which I talked about every day for the last 3 years and 584 days. And guess how many people in 5 years have watched that video? Because everything's countable on the internet. What was it? I forgot the number. Distracting. I believe it's 581 people, or 281, some very low number. Let's just say it was 1,000, which it wasn't. It's either 281 or 581. People took the time to watch that video on kindness. People don't care about kindness. They want to see stupidity. They want to see sexuality. They want to see pranks, pretty cars and motorcycles, pretty things. Pretty landscapes is nice. I like watching beautiful landscapes. Not to say those things are not worth watching. I mean, stupidity and pranks. But I mean, beautiful women, beautiful cars, beautiful motorcycles. That's worth watching. Beautiful men. For you ladies. I'm surprised it's still picking up sand. They dump the sand here, then they push it around. I did a video the other day on the building of the bricks here. Fantastic. So, I've covered a few things. To be accountable for our actions is what's going to reduce code red on the planet. And they have these huge conferences figuring out how can we solve the problem. You can solve the problem by consuming less water. When you pee in the toilet, don't flush it. What do they say? If you do number 1, they have a saying now. Well, don't flush it for number 1 and flush it for number 2. And that saves water. A dripping faucet saves water. 1 drip at a time. Just like the 1 cigarette butt and the 1 bottle on the ground. 1 drip at a time makes sense. You turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth. Let's see about water. People have put in artificial grass instead of using water for their lawns. They put in succulents, which don't take as much water. That reduces water. If we reduce and consume less, our planet will be better off. So I want to go through how to consume less water. Consume less water. You need to drink water. That's important. So don't stop drinking less water. That's the second most important element on the planet is water. First we need oxygen, then we need water. So water is extremely important. And water, let me just real quickly mention that is affected by words. So the Kyoto Water Study proved that yelling at water or yelling at people, because we're 70% water, affects us. So don't yell at people is what commitment to be kind. How many cars do you really need? Do you really need a fleet of cars? Do you need 2 cars? Do you need 1 car? They're making cities like in Saudi Arabia, $500 billion city called The Line. No cars. That's fantastic. A 1 mile wide city, 500 kilometers long, I think, with a super tunnel down the middle. Fantastic. I am trying to get the Saudi Arabian king, because when you develop a new technology in a new city, develop a new way of thinking. Kindness. Expel people that aren't kind. Keep it kind. Choose kindness. Anyway, so how many houses do you need? I have friends that have a dozen or more houses. They're very wealthy, and I've seen the most amazing houses in the world in Los Angeles, and no one lives there. This one super billionaire lives there 2 weeks out of the year, and it's a mansion that you would die for. Amazing. I got stories about that mansion. That was pretty amazing. Should I tell that story now? Yeah, why don't I tell that story now? I haven't told that story. So it's a mansion on Sunset Boulevard, which is lined with many, many mansions in Beverly Hills. And it was built in Prohibition days, a little bit before. Huge mansion. And the walls are, 3 foot thick, the base walls on the bottom. And during Prohibition, it was against the law to have alcohol. So they carved out a wall, a section in the base of the house, and found an empty spot where they could put the alcohol. Now, when I was given the tour from the butler, my friend the butler, he brought me into this room in the basement, and it was lined with closets, metal closets, linen, utensils, labels on each one. One was unlabeled. And he opened it up, and it was an empty closet, about this wide, storage closet. And he pushed the back of it. It was cantilevered. It was this thick wall. It was cantilevered, so when something's cantilevered, it's very easy to push. So he pushed the wall open, and there was the most amazing wine cellar you'd ever seen in your life. Millions of dollars worth of wine. And it was pretty freaking amazing. And he had a life-size statue of Napoleon in one of the rooms. Great works of art, and to think that someone enjoyed that 2 days or 2 weeks out of the year was kind of sad. Now, the butlers or the maids, the people that live in there and taking care of the caretakers of the house, get to enjoy that super mansion. And I've seen the best mansions in the world. I've been on the biggest yachts in the world. They're quite amazing. And people say, well, why? To have, I know one guy who has 3 super yachts, and he spends $80 million a year upkeeping those 3 yachts. But that $80 million goes to people supporting their family, buying goods, supporting the economy, to build the yacht for $800 million, put a lot of people to work. So there's, pluses and minuses to all that. But do you need 3 yachts really? And each yacht had a helicopter, $20 million helicopter. Okay, so let's get back to how we can save the economy or the environment. Litter. I talked about the cigarette butts and the plastic. We can help pick up litter if we see it. That would be nice. That's a nice act of kindness, a random act of kindness. I did that a month or so ago. It was just because the trash cans are out in front here. It was kind of messy, so I picked up the trash, and someone saw that and thought that was pretty cool of me. And it was. And did I do it for myself, or did I do it for the environment? I don't know. A little of both. Um, Pollution. If we consume less, we pollute less. Do you really need to buy 3 Cokes every day? Those 3 containers of Coke end up in a landfill or on the ground or in the ocean. Consume less. If individuals consume less, we have less pollution. I mean, less litter, less trash. So it's about personal consumption, personal accountability. Consume less. Reuse. They came up with this great thing, recycle, and that's great. Maybe 10% gets recycled, which is a start. When we leave our planet, the toilet that we created, and we go out into space and other civilizations, we're not going to have trash. Everything's going to be reusable. Every container we use. Look at this. This is an example. This is a cup, and I wash it when it's done. It takes water. And I reuse it again and again and again and again. Matter of fact, it broke, sadly, and instead of throwing it away, I fixed it with a little bit of glue. So reusing things. Ketchup is a huge product out there. They make an amazing amount of ketchup, and of course it's in plastic bottles, and those plastic gets in the landfill. Imagine being able to bring a container to the market and have the ketchup refilled. I know it takes time and energy, but it's the little things that are going to make a difference in the world. So again, when we go out into outer space, we're going to reuse everything. And there'll be some recycling. I think the water or the feces get recycled. Electricity. If we turn down the thermostat by a degree, it's going to be a huge difference in the world. If we, let's see about electricity, dim the lights. Don't use all the lights. They have a great thing in a lot of places now. It's light activated, it's person activated lights. You walk down an aisle and the lights will come on. And they go off when you're not there. It makes a lot of sense. We're getting smart. We have a long way to go, but we're doing lots of things to reduce, which is good. Reduce consumption of electricity. How else can we reduce electricity? I think I made some notes on it. Let's talk about gas then. I'll get back to electricity. I'm trying to think of electricity. Let's get to gas. Drive less. A buddy of mine came here, wanted to drive across the street for a beer. Across the street. I said, you're crazy. So we walked across the street. Drive less. Ride a bike. Walk to work. Don't go to work. Work from home. That reduces. Reduce gasoline. When I cook now, every time I cook, the last minute or so, I turn off the flame because I know that the pan's hot enough to keep cooking. It's like coasting. Pedal and then coast. Well, when you cook and coast. Boiling water for spaghetti. I turn it off, and I know that the hot boiling water is going to stay hot for quite some time and finish the cooking. So I'm reducing gas by doing that. Let me think what else. As far as gas goes, reduce electricity, move gas. Why? That's good. I mean, how many shirts do you need? I've only got a certain amount. Public transportation. It's looked down upon in a lot of places, like Beverly Hills. You would never go on public transportation there, but it's a fantastic mode of transportation. In all the major cities, London, as a great example, has 8 to 10 different levels of tubes. We call it the tube, and everyone travels that way. So it's not looked down upon. It's a fantastic way of getting around. Public transportation is fantastic. Again, walking, riding on a bike, carpooling. That's fantastic. You get to talk to a friend. Ride sharing. They have a thing called ride sharing. Uber and Lyft came up with some fantastic plans for reducing. Let me think here. Like I said, work from home. Cooking, consume less. I made a few notes. I usually don't make notes, but I want to cover everything. Um, that's quite a bit of stuff. Yeah, I think I covered a lot of stuff for the environment. I want to give my hands, I give an applaud to Prince William in England, who gives out £1 million a year to the winner of a contest, 5 winners who come up with something to help make the world a better place. Or not better, to clean up the world. It's like, if we didn't screw up in the first place, we wouldn't need to do that, but it's a great gesture for him to do that. People are out there inventing new ways of cleaning up our crap. Let's clean up this place. We made a mess of it, so how are we going to clean it up now? Again, it gets back to individuals. Individuals made the problem. Individuals can solve it. And that's why my 3 commitments are so important. The third being the one we're talking about today. Being accountable for your actions. The other day, a buddy of mine, one of my ambassadors, was driving by and he stopped and had a chat with me. And he was smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke. And I could see the cigarette was getting down to the end. And I knew what he was going to do with it, even though he's an ambassador and it's about trying. You have to try to be kind to yourself, try to be kind to others, and try to be kind to the environment. So I looked at him, I said, what are you going to do with that cigarette butt? And he knew what I was talking about, and he said, I'm going to throw it on the ground. He felt bad by saying that, like admitting that he's doing wrong. And I said, that's breaking commitment 3. And he says, yeah, but everyone's doing it. Oh, great excuse. I love when you're a kid and you got in trouble and your excuse was, everyone's doing it. Everybody went there. Everyone did this. And it's like, well, your dad will say, well, if everyone jumped off a bridge, would you jump off the bridge? So he felt guilty, put it in the ashtray. Now that great invention, the ashtray. You put the ashes in there and hopefully one day you empty it into a trash can. You know what most people do? Or a lot of people do? The ashtay's full. Oh my goodness, there's no more room for cigarette butts. They take the ashtray out and they dump it out the window. Now it's nice and empty and we can put more cigarette butts in it. The insanity of humanity. Is that crazy? It takes effort to put that cigarette butt out, carry it in your pocket. They should really come up with, the phone's really ringing off the hook, isn't it? Let's pretend this is a pack of cigarettes. There's 20, you think, in a pack or something like that. Imagine if there was something on the back of it where you could put the butt, or even put the butt where the new cigarette was. I don't know. I'm doing what I can to suggest what the right thing to do is. What I'm saying are the right things to do, whether you have the energy or put the effort out or want to care to make it a better place for our children and our children's children. That's the big question. Whether you think it's important enough to not throw that one cigarette butt on the ground. 4.7 trillion. That's more than there's people on the earth. There's only 7 billion people on the earth. And we're throwing 4.7 trillion cigarette butts on the ground. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Any suggestions? Give me a call. If you're watching this tomorrow or next year, send me an email. drfantasticsworld@gmail.com. drfantastic@gmail.com. Spelled or abbreviated. info@befantastictoday.com. Couple of emails. But if you take my advice and agree to the 3, like it says here, you'll be happier, you will live longer, you'll never be forgotten, and you're going to help make the world a better place. Now, what do I mean by you'll never be forgotten? When I first started this, I would always ask people, have you ever met someone in your life that when you ask them how they are, they've responded, I'm fantastic? Ask yourself that. I've asked it over 5,000 times. I stopped asking at around 5,000. And it was, when I stopped asking, 112 of those people had actually met someone in their life that answered that way. And to the person, they never forgot them. So that's why I say, when you start using the word fantastic, you look fantastic. You're doing a fantastic job. Let's have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic day. When you use the word fantastic, it makes you smile. The smile releases endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin, which release stress, and you live longer. But no one ever forgets someone who said the word fantastic. It's amazing. So everything I said today, and everything I've been saying for the last 3 years, in the last 584 days on the road, is true. Now, whether you take the time and implement it into your life, that would be fantastic. A lot of people, they say, I want to be an ambassador, and they say, I'm going to agree to the three. And then, life gets in the way, and they go on their merry way, and they forget all about being fantastic. They don't forget Dr. Fantastic, of course, because I'm too crazy to forget. But they go on their way, and they do their thing, which is fine. It's I'm looking for teachers. That's really the majority, I think, of people that are really going to take this and help with it are teachers. Because they don't care about money. They wouldn't be a teacher if they cared about money. They care about helping others, teaching our children. And I want our children to take this class that I'm going to do in 2 days' time, 3 days' time. The same thing I'm talking today. I'm going to talk about all three of the commitments. I'm going to go through 1, 2, and 3. It's basically the basis of the kindness class. I want people to listen to me, listen and take the course, and be a teacher. And I want kids to be the teachers too, because I'm going to spell it all out. All you have to do is read the damn thing to go through the examples and most people have some examples in their own life of what kindness is, what they've seen, what they believe it should be. And so that's the plan. Kindness courses. We have the anti-bullying campaign, which is a couple posters that are hopefully going to influence people not to be a bully, to be kind to others. Bullies are losers. They're weak people. They have low self-esteem, and they should be ignored, and they should be bullied. Nobody bullies someone bigger or smarter than themselves. They bully people that they think are weaker than them, and that's not nice. Not kind. So be kind. I'll keep it short. I'm not sure how long I talked for. Let me think. It's 40 minutes. Yesterday I talked for an hour 12 on whatever the hell it was. Have fun in life. Don't take it so serious. And be kind. Mostly to yourself. That's the most important thing. Be kind to yourself. But we don't live by ourselves in the world, so we have to be kind to others. Do we have to? We should be kind to others. Open doors for people. Let people into traffic. Say please and thank you and you're welcome. Do random acts of kindness. But as we're talking about the environment, be accountable for your actions. If there was a camera on you all the time, you would be accountable for your actions. You wouldn't do it because you'd be caught. And there are cameras on you now. You get speeding tickets without anyone pulling you over now, automatically on your phone. You're traced wherever you go. A friend of mine discovered that he delivers packages, and Google tracks his every move. His every move. Everyone's every move. If you're on Google and you have Gmail, on your phone, every move you make every day is tracked. How long you were there, where you went, not what you did, but certainly your phones are being monitored for bad things, and they're trying to protect us because there are some bad people out there. There are some unkind people out there. So I could talk on life and society, and as a life coach and a psychologist, not psychologist. I like to consider myself a philosopher because I've seen enough of life to philosophize that what's right and what's wrong and what can help and what can hurt. And that's what I do. I philosophize. Why not? Traveling the world. Hope to travel to Africa soon. If you want to sponsor my tour, I think you'll get a lot of great exposure for your company. It'll be tax deductible because it's an advertising expense. I want to give these speeches to the schools around the world, to the companies around the world. By the way, I was going to talk about time management. It's all we have is time. But Louis the 18th said, punctuality is the politeness of kings. And if you notice today, I started at 8:59, not 9 o'clock as promised. Because when you're early, you're on time. When you're on time, you're late. And when you're late, you should be fired. Because time is so important. The 5 o'clock news on your local news television show, whatever you call that box thing, starts at 5 o'clock. Not 5:01 or 5 o'clock in 10 seconds. It starts at 5 o'clock. Every second counts in life. Really, every second counts in life. And be accountable for those seconds. It just takes 1 second to throw that cigarette butt down and maybe start a fire and kill someone. 1 second to lose your temper and have a fight. Fighting's so stupid. Oh my God, don't get me started. So I'll talk about all this on the 13th. How stupid fighting is, arguing, being unkind. Oh my God, the insanity of humanity. Oh, people. You know, there's something to be said for being on a desert island without the problems. Do we really need to have the news tell us all the horrible things? You know, the newscast is all about disasters. Their dictum, their rule of thumb is if it bleeds, it leads. You don't turn on the news to see how many happy weddings there were today. You turn on the news to see what disaster struck the world. Oh, what's happening with COVID, with the latest hurricane? How many fires are there? How many people were killed yesterday? How many people? The other day, 8 people sadly were trampled to death at a concert. They went to see a concert to have fun, and they're dead because people were not kind. They pushed everyone. If everyone was just had the kind talk before the concert, that let people in front of you. Don't push. Don't. I mean, 8 lives would have been saved. You need to get me up on stage and talk about kindness. People need to be kind. Traveling. Hopefully this helps one person. If this helps one person, this 45 minutes helps one person, it's worth it. It really is. But when I'm dead and gone, this will be archived in history that this crazy guy went out there and talked a lot about kindness. And it helped a few people. That's fine. If I die tomorrow, I know I've helped thousands and thousands of people. Only 2,380 2,397 people are ambassadors, but many, many, many more than that know about Be Fantastic. From the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, my talks, my speeches, meeting people around 22 states, 500 and I can't remember this stuff. 584 days. I've talked to a lot of people about this, and to the person, they all love it. Well, I shouldn't say to the person. 2 people in the last couple of weeks said, "I don't believe it." They don't believe it because they're negative, one, and they didn't listen. They didn't take the time. I give a lot of videos on what's going on here. I give a lot of text to all the admins, administrators, and nobody has time to read or listen. They want to I don't know what it is. They don't have 1 minute. I actually made it 30 seconds. I have videos that explain this in 30 seconds, and they don't have 30 seconds to watch it. After about 5 hours, you start to get how important this is and the intricacies of being kind and what it can do and what it's going to do. Anyway, that's it for today. Be kind. The call to Earth is it's a what do they call it? Emergency call. It's a 911 call. The call to Earth is 911. Individuals cause the problem. Individuals can solve the problem. One person at a time has to take accountability. You have to take accountability. You have to try to clean up your act, not throw the trash on the ground. Use less. Consume less. Be kinder. How many times can I say it? What you want to be, you can be. Be fantastic. It's a fantastic word. Um, Let me just close. In case this is for the new people. Um, to say you're fantastic when someone asks you, even if you're not, is going to help you and the other person. So it's an act of kindness to say it. But they don't really mean it when they say, how are you? Because it's just a greeting today. It was a very important question 630 years ago when it first came out. I was just a little kid then. And it was to save your life because they had the plague, the bubonic plague that killed 200 million people. So they screamed out, how are you, from a great distance? And there was only two answers. I'm well, which is a great answer, means they're not dying of the plague, or they've got it. And it's kind of apropos today because we have this thing called COVID, and you don't want to get close to someone. Physical distancing, remember? At any rate, so that's where the question, how are you, came from. And you're going to get asked it every single day for the rest of your life. How are you? How's it going? Every day you're going to be asked that. Watch what happens when you say, I am fantastic. It's just going to help. Seriously, okay, it's a lie. It's a fantastic lie. It's a lie that helps you, but it's kind to someone else. Do you really want to say, I'm miserable? How good is that going to help it? What good is that going to do for anyone to tell you that you're miserable? Oh, people say, oh, you got to express your angst, your misery. I don't agree. It's my opinion. You know, if you need to be patted on the shoulder, oh, you're not feeling so well. Okay, so that's what you need. I don't need anyone to pat me on the shoulder, so I'm not going to tell you anybody if I'm miserable. Anybody, nobody. Because I won't let myself be miserable. Being miserable is letting yourself be miserable. It's thinking negative. It's being unkind to yourself. Don't let that happen. Be kind to yourself. The most important trait in life. And I'll go through all that on the 13th. Go back to work. Hopefully you've been entertained. Hopefully you laughed a little bit. Laughter is the best medicine. Whenever you laugh, you live an hour longer. And whenever you smile, you live 5 minutes longer. Keep smiling. Be fantastic. Tell people they're fantastic. And most of all, when you say goodbye to someone, say, have a fantastic day. Okay? Have a fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll try this again. And it's Dr. Fantastic. Be fantastic. 47 minutes, guys.